you know, I generally I do this a lot, and I never get that sense of, oh my God, it's Christopher Walken right there, and I felt completely nervous. You worked with the guy. What was that like?
It was a little less. I think the first time I met him, I had that, but I did a play with him about 3 years ago with him and Sam Rockwell.
Yeah.
And I remember just meeting him to talk about whether or not he was going to do it. It was like kind of like you. It's like a combination of scared and a combination of this is, you know, my favorite actor since I was, you know, 9 or 10 years old. Who keeps doing good work and keeps being scary and funny and brilliant. So it was that kind of. Some actors, you know, they're good, but some are like have such iconic status that there is something trepidatious about going to meet them. But strangely, you kind of get over that when you're working with them on set, you know, because they're just there to do a good job, and it would be out of place for you if you weren't doing your job, and your job was to make sure that the script's right and that he's cool with the script, and you know he's supported in a scene. So it's funny how quickly you get over that. I had the similar experience with Tom Waits, who for me was like a childhood hero. And you know, sometimes you'd be there on set and you'd go back to the monitor and think, oh my God, Tom Waits is in my film, I can't believe it. He's talking to me like I know what I'm doing. But there's something kind of, and Harry Dean Stanton too.
Yeah.
So, and like, even now I kind of step back and think, and look at the post and think, Christopher Walken and Tom Waits are in it, and not to mention all the other people.
Yeah.
But there's something, I know how lucky I am. But then my job is to make sure that the film isn't a piece of shit, and that they're going to be happy with it.
Well, I think there's what you do well, and what we discussed earlier is the you balance nature of evil and the nature of that sense of humor that you need to have. How difficult is it to bring that into this, especially a film? I mean, that you're dealing with murderers and psychopaths. I mean,
I guess it's about always playing the truth of a scene. So if it's a comedy scene, you're not playing the comedy of it, you're playing the truth of it. And if it's a darker one, or if it's a bloody one, you don't go for bloody comic violence or overly gratuitous stuff, although you might disagree. But you try and be, I always try to be truthful in those things. You know, how horrible is it to get hit with a bullet, so if you do the comedy scenes as truthful and the darker scenes as truthful, the truthful line will hopefully come through. So I don't really worry. All my stuff, all the plays I've done, and in Bruges was kind of that. It goes from funny to dark to funny, you know, at a drop of a hat. So it's, but if you take care of the truth, that stuff should fall into place.
well, I think what really especially with this film. Even the women characters, while some of them aren't there very often, there's Myra. This is a fantastic performance.
Yeah, she's fantastic. That's Linda. She's brilliant in the film, I think.
What was the inspiration between those two characters? I mean, there's a very deep-seated, loving. It's just a beautiful relationship with her and Walken.
Yeah. Well, for me, they were the moral heart of the whole film. Their love as an older couple, their past history, their loss was kind of the thing that was more the most in Bruges-like aspect of the film, I think. You know, that was the moral, sad kind of center of part of the story. So I like films that have those things. There's crazy comedy in this, and there's some dark stuff too, but hopefully theirs is the moral center that goes through everything.